We've been speaking about the incredible psak or eitzah that I received from Moshe Sternbach. Right, I went in and he told me tefillah won't help, only tchina. And tchina, he said, is dima, is crying, prayer with tears. And the question is, try to understand a little better. What is this shari dima? Where is this? Where is this gate exactly? And what is this all about? So it starts really from the Gemara Bava Metzia of Dafton Test. The Gemara says, "La'olam yadam zar ba'onas ishtay shemitoch shedima metzuya onasa krova." A person, a man, should be very careful when he's speaking to his wife, not to say something offensive. Why? Because because dima is metzuya. Women cry more easily than men, and Amr Rabbi Miyam Shenichar Beis Hamikdash Ninalo Shari Tefillah. All the gates of Tefillah have been closed. Shneimar Gam Ki Azik Va'ashva Shasim Tefillasi. Afal Pi Shari Tefillah Ninalu. Shari Dimas Lo Ninalu. Shneimar Shama Tefillas Hashem V'Shavasiya Azniel Dimasi Al Tichesh. Right. All the gates have been closed. All the gates have been closed. Right. As we said in the last year, in order for tefillas to be answered, they have to go through Eretz Yisrael. In order to go through Eretz Yisrael, right, they have to go through the Shari Dima. And therefore, a man should be very careful, because if his wife cries, maybe she'll have some bad thoughts about him, or maybe say a couple of words of complaint, and those tefillas will go right in, and it's very, very dangerous, because tefillas will be answered. The tefillas will be answered immediately. Tefillas will be answered immediately. Yeah. So now, exactly what is this? What are these Shari Dima? What is this all about? So the Meiri really opens up these Sharim. He really opens up the door. He says like this. Yeah. He says, Afal Pisha Rov Tfila Shar Shalolianos, right? We shouldn't take this Gemara too literally, because even though the Shari Dima is really the way to get your tefillas in, but every single prayer is answered to some extent, right? Mikol Makam Shiyotzi Mi Amke Halev, Mi Amke Halev, Ad Shadimo Goveres Olav, Ukbelos V'Yotzi. Says the Miri, an incredible idea, that of course tefillah is very important, but tefillah is called avoda shebelev. Where exactly is the avoda? What are you doing to your heart when you pray? Why is a tefillah called avoda shebelev, the work of the heart? So the Meiri reveals here in Bava Metzia of Test that when the tefillah is coming from the omek halev, from the depths of your heart, right? Ad shedimo goveres, right? Dima is a sign. Dima is a sign. Tears are a sign that your prayers are coming from the very depths of your heart, right? And when you're overcome by tears, that means you've reached that point in your heart, which is a very, very deep point in your heart, the depth. And that's really where we're supposed to be praying from. That's really where our tefillah is supposed to be coming from. So when you get to the point where you're just overcome by tears, so the explosion of tears, right? Says the Meiri, then the tefillah is mekubelos b'yoser. Now the Meiri says that this derech sachos amar miyam shechar beis hamikdash linali shari tefillah v'afal pi shari tefillah nolo shari dima lo nolo. The idea that shari tefillah should dima is an expression, is a sign. It's not the tears themselves, right? Although the Arizal says if you have tears in prayer, you should wipe your forehead with the tears, and you should that erases the writing. When a person doesn't have hair, there's writing written on his forehead. One time, someone went to the stipler and he's had like this over his head, and the stipler covering his forehead. The stipler said, "What, you think I can't know your Averas even though you have a hat over your forehead?" But so there's writing on a person's forehead, and when a person cries, right, says the Arizal, those tears have the ability to wipe off that writing. It's a side point. But the point is that tefillah is avodah shebelev. Tefillah is that time when we get deep, deep into the inner recesses of our hearts. Right? And if you've been successful, the sign of success they reach deep into the heart, is Shadima Goveres Alav, right? And then says the Miri, that type of tefillah will be Mukubelis B'Yosef, is more accepted. I know myself, there were two times in my life when I knew immediately that the tefillahs were accepted. One time I can't talk about, it's too personal. But the other time is my sefer, my book, Praying with Joy. I gave it to a certain publisher and they rejected it. But not only did they reject it, they told me, Rabbi Travis, if you sell 500 copies, you're going to be lucky. This is not what people are looking for. There's too much halacha in here and not enough stories, right? It's about 10 to 20% stories and 80, 90% halacha. What you need is 80 to 90% stories and 10 to 20% halacha, and then your book will sell. In any event, I was devastated. I'd worked a number of years in that book, and I was very close to the Indian of Tefillah after I was saved by a special Tefillah. I had Yeshua from a special Tefillah that Rosh Hashanah wrote for me. I was absolutely devastated. I went home, and I sat myself in a corner, a room, I don't remember exactly what, and I just poured out my heart to Hashem. I said, Hashem, please help me. Like, it was such an incredibly devastating moment for me. And as the words came out of my mouth, I felt that the Yeshua was there. And I got an idea. I changed the format. I changed the things. I contacted a different publisher. I went with Feldheim. And Baruch Hashem, the book was an amazing success. We sold 5 digits, not 500, but many, many, many more times than that. And I felt, as the words were coming out of my mouth, I felt they were being accepted. I felt that they were going through. And it was because of the Sha'ar Dima. Another time, it was a very personal situation. I felt I was in a very great sorrow. And as the words came out of my mouth, I felt it. It was Bukei Shemayim that um, that they were opening up. They're opening up, and that's what Chazal are telling us. That all the gates are closed. Yeah. All the gates are closed, but you can open them up. You have the keys. The keys are there, and the keys are the Shari are the Dima. And as the Miri is saying, Dima is not just tears. Tears are good. Tears are a sign, as they say in it's a simon. It's a simon, not a siba, right? It's not that tears best help you. It's that tears are a sign that you reach the deepest recesses of your hearts, and the truth and the tefillah is coming out of the deepest recesses of your hearts. This is the sign what Dima shows. So Hashem should help us. There'll be one more shira on this topic, Bezrat Hashem. The very deep words of the Maharal, who explains this in a very deep fashion. We'll do it next year. But meanwhile, Hashem should help us. The more you think and the more you understand that the only address for your sorrow, for your tribulations is Hashem, the closer you will be to salvation. Because when you hit that Sharidima, then that's when the Yeshua is right around the corner. Hashem should help us get there. Amen.